Oh boy. Good morning. Here we go. I'm feeling it this morning. Excuse me. Hey, what's up, Wilo Gamer Pro? Good to see you. Dude, I can feel the tiredness this morning. Okay, we're doing some actual coding this morning. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. We're gonna do last year's problems. So we'll just start with day 1. But let's go ahead and set up our repo. What do I want to call this? Do I want to actually put this stuff in? I think I do. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think, do I want to put these in the admin of code for this year, or do I just want to keep them in a separate thing? I think I'm just going to keep them in a separate thing. I went to bed very late. I feel tired and not have had coffee yet. I feel very tired. I didn't go to bed late, but I do feel tired. So I'm right there with you, man. Let's get this caffeine in our bloodstreams and hopefully we start to feel it sooner rather than later. Sorry, excuse me. I do think I sort of semi have the virus that the rest of my family has too, so that's probably not helping. All right, what do we call this? So I think each problem has a name. So this one's historian history. All right, so we'll do go mod init / practice go mod tidy. Hello, Harsh. How are you? Hello. I think it's the first time I've seen you in the chat. Appreciate you saying hello. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put each. I'm kind of thinking about how like I'm gonna structure my project for actual advent of code. So I think I'm gonna put each solution in its own directory. So I'll do make dir historian history. Also, what's the naming convention in Go? Go naming convention for packages. So it should be for packages. Typically, it's lowercase. It's a single word. No underscores or mixed caps. Conciseness and clarity. Single nouns. Avoid shadowing. Huh. So how would I name this? Maybe just yeah, I think I'm just gonna do this. Hey Butterscotch, how are you? Good to see you this morning. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so then we'll do I guess main.go and maybe main test.go. Will that work? So this will be package main tests. Yeah, we'll start there. I don't know. I don't know if I exactly know what the structure should be, but that's where we'll start. Okay, so this is last year's day one problem, and that's where I'm gonna start trying to practice from. Hello, Renee. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. I'm currently trying to actively avoid falling asleep. Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah, no complaints, Renee. Life is good. All right, so what's the problem? There's always a story, but I'm gonna skip over the story. So this was the problem from last year. Okay, there's just one problem. By holding the two lists side by side, your puzzle input, it quickly becomes clear that the lists aren't very similar. Maybe you can help the historians reconcile their lists. For example, you're given 3, 4, 2, 1, 3, 3, and 4, 3, 5, 3, 9, 3. Maybe the lists are only off by a small amount. To find out, we need to pair up the numbers and measure how far apart they are. Pair up the smallest number, in the left list with the smallest number in the right. Then the second smallest left number with the second smallest right number, and so on. Within each pair, figure out how far apart the two numbers are. You'll need to add up all those distances. For example, if you pair up a 3 from the left list with a 7 from the right list, the distance apart is 4. If you pair up a 9 with a 3, the distance apart is 6. Okay, so basically they're saying you need to sort the lists, then you need to calculate the distance between the two values, and then sum them. So what is the total distance between your lists? Your puzzle answer. Okay, so this was my answer last year. So where's my puzzle input? There's my puzzle input. So this is the actual thing you have to solve against, but they give you like a small example that you can initially test with. There's a lot of numbers. So we'll just come over here. We'll call this input.txt. We'll just drop those in there. And then let's go to main. Let's go to our test package. And let's write a function that is test example star testing t. Also, Copilot's going to try to solve this for me if I don't disable it. Yeah, I don't know where Artwork Studios and Lamp are. Maybe they had something going on this morning. They are normally here first, though. It's kind of crazy that we actually have regulars. You know what I mean? We have people that are here so often that we notice when they're not here. Which is pretty wild. So let's do const string. Or no, we don't need. Do we need to type it? Const example input. Let's see here. Excuse me. Okay, that's our example input. I'm actually going to put that up there like this. Hey, what's up, Arvin? Good morning, man. Wayfaring Tino, how's Go so far? Yeah, Go's fine. Yeah, I don't actually have any real. I guess I don't really have any real hot takes about it. There is one thing that I'm pretty dead set on not liking, and that is naked returns. But other than that, I'm here. Beds, what are you doing? It looks like the admin of code aesthetic. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm basically trying to practice what I've learned about Go so far by solving old admin of code problems. Excuse me, my nose is getting the best of me this morning. Good morning, Arvin. Let's see. I'm fine. How about you? I'm doing well. Aside from, I seem to have caught the virus that the rest of my family is fighting, so I'm trying to work through that. Hello, Steven. I watched your video on the decorator pattern last night. It's very good video. Hope the stream is going well. Well, that's very kind, Kyle. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. Thank you for coming to let me know. Stream is going well. Yeah, no complaints. Wayfaring said, "Here comes winter." I know, man. Fucking sucks. This happens every year. Every year it's just like this revolving door of illnesses at our house. Okay, so what's the first so the first thing we need to do is we need to be able to basically take this list, right? And we need to turn it into an array or a slice, two slices, two arrays. Um, then we also need to sort them. So I'm thinking what makes the most sense is to have some sort of function that reads this line by line, right? So something like I guess I'm imagining something that's like this. That's like line, or maybe even something like this, where we could say for line in input dot read line, and then we pass it example input, and then in here we can work with the line, right? So we could say something like first num equals line dot split. I'm not really sure how I work with the string yet. That's something that's still new to me. So basically line dot split, and we just split on an empty character. And so this would be actually be like numbers like this. And then we could do first number is equal to numbers 0 dot trim or something like this. I'm basically just writing like wishful code. Like this is what I wish I could do to solve this. Dot trim. And then, you know, this is basically where we're going, right? So I think the final API though ends up looking something like this. Solve like type puzzle input string. And we do something like this. Maybe puzzle. Maybe just a function? I'm not really sure. I'm just... Function solve puzzle. Yeah, because we basically want to have the ability... I know I'm overthinking this too much, but... When did AOC begin? It hasn't begun yet. It hasn't begun, Arvin. We're just kind of practicing with old problems. You guys do eat healthy, right? Because I get seasonal sickness and stuff, but if it happens all the time, then I wonder if it's only seasonal or something. Yeah, it's always about this time of year, like flu season, when we struggle with it. I think more than anything, it's having school age kids. You know. Um, what are you gonna do? I always talk crap about frameworkers on my socials, but right now I have postponed my learning programming for learning framework. Right now my knowledge of Java is so weak, cannot hit this year's AOC. I have become a thing I feared the most, a frameworker. What do you mean by a frameworker? Do you mean you're trying to get up to speed on how you do things in Java? Is that what you mean? Because I wouldn't really consider that a bad thing, you know? Like, in order to be a competent app developer in any language, you sort of have to know the tools you're working with, right? That's just kind of the nature of the beast. Steven, if you're sick, you should rest. Flu affects the heart too. Rest, dude. Live to fight another day. I'm just gonna push through. I mean, I don't feel bad. It's really just my nose that's been running. You know, like I don't feel fluey. You know, it's just my nose has been running, and that's annoying. But I feel okay. A frameworker, someone who knows how to black box use a web framework, but has either weak fundamentals, basically plus 80% of web devs. Well, I guess it depends on how you define fundamentals. You know? Like, I feel like if you try to learn Next.js before you learn JavaScript, that's probably a bad move. I appreciate you looking out, Renee. It's kind of you. So I think what I'll do is I think I want this at the very end of all this. I think this is what I want to be able to do. Total distance equals solve puzzle. Pass in our example input, and then we can say if we'll say result, and we'll say expected, and we'll say expected if result, or no, yeah, if result does not equal expected, then we should do something, but I don't remember what we do inside there. Well, actually, I can look at the code we wrote the last couple days. Basically, I barely know Java, but I'm grinding on Spring. If this continues, it's not going to end well for me. Well, I guess the question is, then why do you feel like you need to grind on Spring before you learn Java? Like if you don't like how that's playing out, what's the driving force? Is there some sort of deadline or so, you know? Yes, time constraint. I need to earn a certain amount of money by a deadline. Ooh, that's tough, dude. And you have to earn the money using coding? Yes. So we do, whoops. Yes. Huh. Seems kind of interesting. Oh yeah, what was the expected value they got? Tried to get into electrical engineering, but the local market is non-existent. Well, that sucks. I would end up swapping capacitors for like $5 a day. Is that a lot where you live? Like $5 a day? Like what's a good wage where you are? So we expect a total distance of 11. So we'll say got S, but wanted S. And we'll say results expected. So the question is, $5 a day is nothing here. Yeah, it's not much here either. Can't do much with $5 a day. What is that? 150 bucks a month? Okay, I think I've changed my mind. I think what I want to do. I think I want to build something like what we built the other day in this in the Learn Go with test, where we basically read from a file. We read from the file system, but for the test we mock it out. Yeah. So I think I kind of I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I think what I want to do is I want to be able to say Well, hold on. I think I'm approaching this in like in a I'm trying to approach this in an optimal solution instead of approaching it from like how do I solve it. So let's split this into two different parts, right? So let's have two different things. Let's have a example.txt file. Oops. And then in our test, let's split this into two different steps. So let's have an input, and we'll call this read lines. Yeah, this is what we're gonna do. So then we'll go over here to our main.go. Let's define a function. Our function is a read lines function. It takes in a string. This is the file path. And for now, it just returns an empty slice of string. See, this is where, but that should make everyone happy, I think now, right? Oh, we need to import that. So we'll say this is so ugly. I have no idea what I'm doing. Error format %s has arg result of wrong type int. Okay, so how to print int in Go? %d. All right, let's try to run this thing. Steven has locked in. Yeah, sorry. I went away for a little bit there. I mean, I'm really not the smartest programmer, so when I have to solve something, I really have to focus. Fortunately. Cool. Got 0 but want 11. That's what we were hoping for. So now we need to actually try to implement our solution. So first things first, we actually need to read our lines. So I guess I'll test read lines. Okay, so we need a string slice. And we expect this to be full of a bunch of strings. What's the best way to print a slice? Guess just like that. See, Arvin? Frankincense, huh? I've never heard of frankincense as a learning aid. I only noticed now that you can use Go to customize GitHub issues output via the GitHub CLI templating. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that you could modify how the GitHub CLI prints information using Go. That is news to me. This is where it'd be really nice to know how to do macros better. But you know what? I just noticed what vim op dot sign dot symbol column. What was that thing that Sam told us to do yesterday? Vim symbol column. There we go. Good. Oh, so what is frankincense? I mean, I've heard of frankincense, but I guess I've never really thought about what it is. Lone Sailor Gaming. Thanks for subbing. Appreciate it. That's very cool, Renee. I'll have to remember that. Usually if I need to really view the issue, I usually just go to the web view. Like I'll usually list in the CLI, but if I actually want to dig into the details, I'll just go to the web. But that's good to know. Okay, so how do we read files? Or how do we read lines, right? That's the key. How do we read a line? Well, we know there's something called buff.io because we used that yesterday to do all the blog stuff. So the first thing we have to do is we have to try to open this file. So we need to do file, air, and then we have to use the OS package .open. I wonder why you use open versus open file. Open file is the generalized open call. Most users will use open or create instead. Excuse me. If the file does not exist, huh. I guess I should probably know that though, shouldn't I? Like why use open versus open file in Go? It's a convenience wrapper. So this is like if you want to specify more arguments. Okay. Well, I don't want to do that. I just want to open it. So if air is not nil, then I think I just want to return Alright. I also think I want to use a channel. I think I want to read this line by line, right? Because imagine this is a really big file. So we'll just do we'll do channel string and instead of this we will just return nil, and here we will return an error. Like that. There we go. Okay, now we want to say we need a channel, which is going to be our lines. So we're going to say make a channel of string like this. And then we're going to use a go anonymous function to run our go routine. We'll return lines like this. Then we just need to read through the file, probably use a scanner, which we learned about yesterday. So we should always make sure we defer closing the channel. We should also defer file.close, I think. Right? We don't want to leave those hanging. Then we'll do scanner is equal to buff io.new scanner, which takes in the file, because file just implements a reader, an IO reader. And then we'll basically for scanner.scan, we will say lines like that. Expression in Go must be function call. Oh, it's got to be immediately evoked. So I think what that means is oh, well now my return types are all off because since I'm just getting what, since readlines just returns since readline just returns well, here's the thing. Having readlines return a channel of strings is kind of dumb, and the reason why is because in order to solve this puzzle, I have to have the whole list in memory. So it doesn't really make sense to just have one line at a time. So this is dumb. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to what we were doing before. And we're going to say if there is an error, we will just return an empty slice. That. Oops. That. Lines will be equal to hey, what's up, Dougie Dev? Hey, Steven, in training a AI mode? Oh, nice. What are you training the AI for? Also, where'd you get your data? Because this is where we have to do lines equals append lines scanner.text, like that. And I think this will make our test pass. Let's try. Yep. Okay, so we're getting all our lines from our file now, so that's awesome. Step 1 done. Now we have to actually solve the puzzle. So in our puzzle solution, we need to we are gonna for range let's see, for line range range of input, right? We're going to need 2 lists of numbers. So we're going to need the left list, which is going to be a slice of ints, and the right list, this. And then we're going to need numbers. So line.split. Oh, that was nice. Did you see that? There's like a snippet for split. So if you do numbers line.split, see that snippet right there? That's pretty nice. So if you hit split, it actually then brings in all the right stuff to do it, which is pretty cool. So we're going to use the strings package. We are going to split. I'm just going to split on an empty space, which let's just print this out to see what this does. We'll still return 0 here, but let's actually print this. So we'll say format dot print line %s numbers. Hey, I love Lamp. He's been a member for a month. Let's go. Hey, what's up, Gun? Netgo. It's for attack or not reasoning. Huh. So you're going to use AI for your proxy? Print line call has possible printf formatting direct. Oh, whoops. Yeah, so this is what I want, right? Or maybe not. What is numbers? Numbers is an array of strings. So then let's do for num. I just basically want to see what ends up in the little arrays of numbers we have now. So if we do, excuse me, if we do format dot print %s, because I think there should be extra padding on these things. But there's not. Huh. So does split remove white space to begin with? I guess not. I see that the flu is right at the corner to get you. Yeah, it's got me. I feel okay, except for my nose is kind of bothering me. It won't stop running. All right, let's just try this. So we have numbers, and we want to take left list, and we want to append what is essentially numbers I. Now this is going to complain because that's a string, so we need to say int. Okay, so how do I convert a string to an int? Go convert string to int. Okay. So left number equals numbers 0. Declare not used. One variable, but string error returns to, oh, yep, left number and error. Which I'm gonna ignore. Can I ignore it? Yeah, I'm gonna ignore it. Right number. Hey, what's up, MD? Yo, how's it going? It's going good. Yeah, we're just doing some Go programming this morning. But yeah, other than that, it's going well. Good to see you. It's been a minute. I think I need to trim this stuff, though. The result of append is never used except maybe in other appends. Oh, it will be. So now we need to sort these. Or I guess actually let's print these. Let's say format dot print f left list and right list. Alright, so we got two lists of numbers. Now this is 0 because it can't parse. And it can't parse because there's, just like I thought, there's extra stuff. Right? Because if we look at our puzzle input, there's all this extra space here. So we need to trim the numbers before we parse them. So how do we do that? Does strings have like a trim? Strings.trim. Yeah, that's what we want. Let's do strings dot trim. Why is this complaining? What's a cut set? Jamie, thanks for subbing. We want trim space. That's what we want. So strings dot trim space. Now I think here. Nope. So we're still only getting zeros, which is wrong. Yeah, the property extension in C#14 is pretty baller. Have you seen, there's a guy on Twitter that's been posting all this crazy stuff he's been doing with operators. AZ anything. Yo, how do you avoid burnout? How do I avoid burnout? I guess I avoid burnout by just not doing too much. You know, like if I don't feel like streaming one day, I just won't stream. You know, or if I don't feel like creating content, I just won't create content that day, right? I don't put a ton of pressure on myself to do things that I don't want to do. Now, when it comes to like work, like you can't, like work is work, right? Like you have to do work. Like there's just that's sometimes you just gotta grin and bear it, right? I don't have good advice there. I think anytime I feel like burnt out at work, the love and responsibility I feel towards my family kind of overrides any sense of burnout I have. But when it comes to my own stuff, you know, all this stuff is just for extracurricular, right? It's just for fun. So there's no reason to do it to a point of burnout, or at least that's how I feel about it. Yeah, I don't know if that's particularly helpful, AZ anything, but that's just where my mind goes, you know. So my thought is that this function isn't doing what I think it does. That's what I'm thinking right now. Who is the I forgot his name. Let me see. He's doing a lot of cool things with like lists. Let's see. Numbers 3 4 4 3. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Oops. Wrong place. I think his name is like Wiles something. Siles. Maybe Siles. Hold on. Let me scroll through my feed for a second. He's been all up in my feed. But he's been doing a bunch of things where he like overloads the pipe operator of the enumerable. I think it's the IEnumerable type. He's got a repo with all his examples there too. We're just taking a stream through my X this morning, aren't we? Well, I know I saw this guy reply to him yesterday. Here we go. This guy right here. He's been posting a ton of pictures. Like, look at this. Where is it? Some of the code's real hard to read because it's kind of small, but yeah, like look. So he's got an author of books. Then he uses the pipe. He uses a pipe operator, and I'm pretty sure the way he's making this work is he's using that new extension members feature to define this operator here for the enumerable or IEnumerable type. He's got it all in a repo though. If you're curious, let me find his repo. How do I search his repositories? There you go. There you go. He looks Scandinavian. I don't actually know who he is or what he does, but he was popping up a ton in my X feed, and I was like, wow, that looks really cool what he's doing there. But I'm pretty sure the way he's doing it is he's leveraging that new extension member functionality, which is pretty fucking cool if you ask me. How do you print so if I was to loop over format print f Yeah, I didn't either, but okay, so this looks like we have all the numbers, but it looks, I'm not sure it's printing the white space. That's the thing. Let's see if it's, go, print numbers including white space. Hey, what's up, Wilo Gamer Pro? Finally got some coffee and energy. What are you doing? I'm trying to figure out why this stuff doesn't work the way I think it should work. Oh, here it is. This is why it's not working. There's a bunch of empty values in there. So, is there a way that I can I mean, there's a couple ways I could approach this. I could just say how many ever 1, 2, 3. It looks like there's 3 spaces in there. So I could just come in here and say split by 3 spaces like that, and I think I would then get what I wanted out. Yeah, that'll work. We'll just do that. There's probably a way to remove empty entries though, right? Now we have to sort them. How do you sort? I mean, obviously I could sort them by actually implementing sort myself, but there's probably got to be some way to sort arrays, right? You can go sort arrays. Slice or sort the slice using sort.in. The sort.in function sort from the sort package sorts a slice of integers into ascending order. Okay. For sorting custom data types or using a custom sorting logic, you can use sort.slice. Maybe we should read one of these articles. So it looks like there's also a slices package that has a sort function. So which one's the right one to use? Go it.sort versus slices.sort. Oh, sort.int in fact just calls slices.sort now. Okay, I guess I'll do slices.sort then. I'm not really sure why I have a bunch of different ways to do this, but that doesn't seem very Go. So we'll say left list sorted equals left or slices dot sort left list. Now does this return a new slice or is this the same slice? Oh, so it mutates it essentially. Slices dot which doesn't seem very functional. I'm learning all new things about Go. Excuse me. I don't mean to blow my nose into your guys' ear, but this is kind of the state of affairs at the moment. Okay, cool. So that's how we sort it. Now we need to basically range over each one. So let's assume that the lists are always equal length. They didn't really tell us that, but let's just make that assumption. They're always equal length. So we will say for I range, right, equals range length of the left list, we will calculate the distance. So we will say distance is equal to the left list at I minus the right list at I. Now this can be negative, so I think I can just always multiply by it. Well, there's got to be like a math.absolute, right? Let's see. Math.at, yep, there we go. Easy peasy. Oh, it needs to be a float. Well, that's okay. So we'll just say distance equals float 64. And then we'll come down here and we'll say distance. We'll just rename this to be like absolute distance. And then we just need to sum these. So let's do a total, which is 0. And then we'll just increment that by the distance. And then return that. Let's go! Okay, so we passed the example input. Now we need to actually try this against the actual solution input. So let's go to main test.go. And we will do func test solve puzzle. This is basically going to be the same test. Chat is very silent today. Chat is very silent today, but that's okay. They're probably silent because I'm kind of less chatty and more locked into figuring out how to solve this puzzle, which, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I don't really know what the expected is, so I'm just gonna do 0 for now, and do input over here. And then we'll run this. So now this is definitely going to fail, but it should at least tell us what the solution's number is, and we'll see if this is correct. So this is what we calculated for the actual input they gave us, and so we can just see if that's correct based on looking at my solution from last year. 1,000. This is what we should have got. Because this is last year's problem set, and I'm just using it so that I can practice. So go test. Yep. So that was the right answer. Okay, cool. So let's look at our solution though. Let's just look at our solution for a second, and maybe think about like some questions that I have. So the first question I have is like, I think the first thought I have is looking at my solution Or if I look at my tests, I almost wonder if like, I almost wonder if it shouldn't be more like this, where we say, input.txt, like maybe we should just specify the file. And then maybe we should make this a private method or a private function to this package. Like that. Why is it complaining? This really should be file path. File path. I mean, honestly, actually, there should probably be, this could actually probably be more abstract, right? Like we could actually pass in the read files implementation, or we could actually probably depend on some sort of interface that's like read puzzle input or something. But I think this is fine for for the purposes of admin of code. Our test should still pass though. Yeah, so test still pass, which is great. I think I'm happy with that. I think I do have a question about, like, there's some error handling that I'm kind of ignoring. Okay, so this was a question that I had here. Can you filter empty values? So let's see what that looks like. Let's open up our good friend Gemini, and let's quiz our good friend Gemini. Let's say I'm working in Go, and I have a slice of strings, but I want to filter out all empty strings. Is there a built-in way to do this? I mean, I know that I could do it. Like, I know I could like loop over, check for empty strings, and then remove them, but wow. So that's how they just want you to loop over it, huh? If you're using Go 1.21 or newer, you can use the slices.delete func. It modifies the slice in place. We tell it to delete any element where s equals this. Well, if it modifies it in place, why are we reassigning? Or why are we assigning to a new variable? So if I did this, just split on a white space, and I said, okay, great. Here, now delete Are you gaslighting me? I don't think delete func exists. Go delete func. Oh, it's the slices package. So you could say slices.delete func, then pass in your numbers, and then you're going to give it a callback. You're going to give it a callback that is a function, takes a string, returns a bool. It doesn't need to be used though, right? If it modifies it in place. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't modify it in place. Huh. That's weird. So it modifies the original numbers, but it also returns it. That's not confusing at all. Huh. Yeah. Well, it's good to know. 1, 2, 3. What was another question I had? I think I had a question about the slices.sort. I see that slices.sort mutates the slice it is given. Is there a way to sort a slice without mutating it? It's interesting that Go's a functional language, though it has all these methods that mutate things. Huh. Yeah. That's really interesting that it doesn't. Well, now we know. So we have this read line. This thing is something we're probably gonna need to. We're gonna need to do this like on every input from Advent of Code this year, probably. So we probably need like a package of like utility functions. Okay, we're gonna do another one. Let's do part 2. So part 2. Artwork Studios. Hey, what's up, man? I didn't realize you got here. What part are you learning now? I'm not really learning anymore now. Now I'm actually trying to solve actual problems. So this is an old Advent of Code problem from last year. It's the day 1 problem from last year. And I'm basically just working through how do I solve these things in Go. You know, so I'm basically a little bit testing myself to see how much I picked up from the last 13 days or so of learning, and then just preparing myself for similar challenges that will probably come up this year while doing Advent of Code, like reading a file line by line, right? How do you do that? Sorting a slice, how do you do that? Basic things like splitting. How do you split a string? And starting to get kind of familiar with the standard library in Go more and more. So that's what That's what we're gonna do for the next couple days. All right, I'm gonna go refill my coffee cup, blow my nose, and then we'll come back and do part 2. I've been trying Rin Pie recently. What's Rin Pie? I don't think I've ever heard of that. All right, coffee. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Did we figure out what RenPy is? RenPy is a game engine that uses Python-like syntax to create visual novels. That sounds actually freaking cool. Let's slight detour, right? Side quest. RenPy. A visual novel engine. Do they have like a demo? This stuff they do in anime. Wow, so all this is made with just all this content is made with RenPy? Or is the artwork still other people's artwork? RenPy example. Oh, artwork can be external? Okay, nice. I used it because people wanted to push it onto me when I started. The artwork is not made with RenPy. Nice. Interesting. Yeah, it does definitely have like a Python-like feel to it. Although this is kind of interesting. Label choices. Question menu, and then you define a menu. Huh. Man, it's very terse. Very, very terse. Well, I learned about something new today, so that's cool. Hold on, my wife just sent me a text. Fair warning, a lot of RenPy games are risque. Are you serious? Artwork Studios, what are you doing in this world? No, don't be running around making risque games. That's hilarious. It's found like a niche audience. People who want to make sexy anime games. Dude, the internet's such a fucking hilarious place. Not all of them. Nah, I mean, hey, I've seen my fair share of anime, so I know how they like to depict things. uh, okay, so part two. This is kind of Advent of Code's thing. So if you're newer to Advent of Code, this is obviously the old problems, but I'm guessing this year is going to be similar as it was in past years. They always have a part one, they have a part two. And sometimes the part two completely screws up what you did in part one. I don't really remember if this one did that. So they basically like throw a curveball, right? Like new requirements. So this says the historians can't agree on which group made the mistake or how to read most of Chief's handwriting, but in the commotion, you notice an interesting detail. A lot of location IDs appear in both lists. Maybe the other numbers aren't location IDs at all, but rather misinterpreted handwriting. This time, you'll need to figure out exactly how often each number from the left list appears in the right list. Calculate a total similarity score by adding up each number in the left list. Adding up each number in the left list after multiplying it by the number of times that number appears in the right list. So here are the same example lists again. For these example lists, here's the process of finding the score. So the first number in the left list is 3. It appears in the right list 3 times. So the similarity score increases by 3 by 3, which is 9. Okay. So we basically say how many times does 3 occur in the right? How many times does 4 occur in the right? 2, so on and so forth. So it's kind of a completely different problem, actually. Anonymous advent of code already? No, it's not advent of code yet. That doesn't start till December 1st, but we're just doing old problems for practice. It's kind of like a way to test how much I've actually learned from the last 13 days of trying to learn Go, and also to start to kind of get familiar a little bit more with the standard library and Go, and just practice. I mean, advent of code won't be fun. If I do it in Go, it won't be fun if I'm just frustrated the whole time that I can't figure out how to do basic things, So we're just doing a little bit of practice. So let's rename this. Let's rename this one to let's rename this one to calculate total distance. And let's rename our test to calculate total distance with example puzzle, and then calculate total distance with actual puzzle. And then I do see one thing we can probably factor out here. So we still need two two lists of numbers, right? So I think there's probably another helper function we can have here, which is parse lists, and we can probably have a taken a slice, right? Input, or maybe puzzle. Maybe we call puzzle, and this is going to be a string slice, and then we can return 2 int slices out of this. Like that. So we can come down here and say, okay, we have left list, right list. And we don't really need to sort them. We just need the lists, right? So let's put that there. We'll call this puzzle. And then we will return the left list and the right list, like that. We'll come back up here. And now we'll say left list, right list, right list is equal to parse lists from input. And that should all still work. Famous last words. Also, guys, remember, if I say I'm doing something, there's a low chance I actually finish it. I think that's a bad habit, Artwork Studios. I'm not your dad, but I think that's a bad habit, dude. I think if you say you're gonna do something, you should actually do it. Alright, so now that we have that, we should actually now calculate the similarity score. So let's define, or let's write our test first. Let's try to practice TDD. So we'll say func test calculate. Let me move this up so it's in the center. Calculate similarity score, which takes a T, which is a pointer to the testing .t struct. And it's basically going to be the same thing up here, right? The only difference is I think we expect like 30 something instead of 11. Yeah, we expect 31. And then instead of this, we should say calculate similarity score. Hey, what's up, Pablo? How are you? Anonymous, interesting. Using testing for solving advent of code. I've never seen that before. Yeah, that's how I've done it the last 2 years. So like I did it all, and I've done it all in C# the last 2 years. But yeah, that's for me. That's how I found it the most doable, because there's some things in advent of code that for me are kind of difficult to wrap my head around. You know, call it a skill issue. I don't know. And so for me, having the ability to have tests and then also be able to debug those tests and like break my code apart and be able to step through it is really, really useful for me. So that's the way I did last year's as well. Like I basically would always have like the solution project and then the test project, and then I just put the input right there in the root of the project, and it worked pretty well doing it this way. I would always have like a main program where I could actually like run it though if I wanted to, but then I would try to write tests to help me actually iterate through solving it, which is very, very, very helpful. In my experience, like I know not everybody finds tests helpful, but I find them helpful. Okay, we don't have a calculate similarity score here, so we need to make one. Pablo, so far it's going okay. We're just doing old practice problems, and we were able to solve part 1 without too much struggle, maybe a little struggle, but yeah, it's going good. I think I'll try this year. It's not a bad idea. You have a good reasoning for it. Yeah, so I started doing it because the first year I did the advent of code, I got myself into this place where like I would have parts of my solution that were correct, and but there was small pieces of it that were wrong, and so I found it really difficult to identify the pieces that were incorrect without being able to kind of isolate logic and then be able to like step through the logic as my puzzle input was processed. And for me, the best way to do that is like debugging test. It's a big part of my workflow just in general. Like when I build stuff, being able to have tests and that run my code and allow me to debug it without actually running the application. That's just I would be far less capable if I didn't have that ability. I made a tool a couple of years ago that downloads the problems as markdown in the input, and all of that with one command, and then run them and upload with another. Oh, that's cool. There is an AOC CLI. That's very cool. I did not know either of those things. Advent of Code CLI. AOC CLI is a command line tool for Advent of Code. It lets you read puzzle descriptions, download puzzle inputs, submit answers, and check if they are correct, all from the comfort of your terminal. It is built using the AOC client library. Well, I had no idea there was a client library. Very, very cool. Yeah, I'll have to use that this year because it's kind of a pain downloading them, downloading the inputs and the problem. You know, you have to copy paste it from the site. Very, very cool. Yeah, I'm starring this. Yeah, I mean, simple, right? I mean, what's wrong with a few curl requests? I love it. Okay, similarity score. So we need to basically do the same thing we're doing here. The only difference is this logic here. So we don't care about sorting for sure. This is different. And we don't really care about we don't really care about this, but we do want to get the actual number in the left list. Right? And so we need to check how many times does that number appear in the right list. Which I think would just, I mean, I know this is probably ugly, but we say num of occurrences. Just initialize that to 0. And then we range over the right list. And then we say if num. Oh, whoops. We should probably shouldn't shadow the variables like that. Left num, right num. And so then we say if right num equals left num, increment the number of occurrences. And then at the end of the loop, we just do total equals left num times number of occurrences, like that. Hold on. Let me read the by adding up each number in the left list after multiplying it by the number of times that number appears in the right list. Yeah, I think I did that. I think that's what I think that's what I implemented. So let's run our tests and see what happens. See if it blows up. It did not blow up. Although I'm not sure that's the most efficient or the best way to do it, but it should work. Let's copy this guy. Paste this dude down below. Whoops. And then obviously we need to change the name here, so we'll say width puzzle. Then we'll pass the input. And in this case, because we're solving old problems that I've already solved before, I do know what the value should be. So this is what I got last year, and it was correct. So this is what we should get this year, or this is what we should get this time. Like that. So go test. There we go. Fantastic. Okay. So the only question I have with the similarity score implementation is, does Go provide any ways to do this like better? I don't remember how I did it in C#. I guess I can look. I want to make a site showing a channel's returning viewers. That'd be cool. But I'm bad at the YT API. Well, I mean, everyone's bad at every API until they use it, you know? The hardest part to me about the YouTube API is just the authorization, because you've got to implement an actual OAuth flow with the user involved, but it's not... after that, then it's just making your typical HTTP requests. I think you could do it, though. I believe in you. I believe in your abilities. Let's see, puzzle solver. No, I basically did the same thing. I used the count method. I used a link method to do the count, but it's basically the same thing, because under the hood, the count method's just iterating over it anyways. So let's see, does Go have a count method? Go slices count method? No. Okay. I mean, you can definitely build your own, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing with this whole Go approach, right? Is like you just do the simplest. You don't do anything clever really, unless you want to. I bet there are packages that bring in a lot of this functionality too, right? Like if I went and searched around for Go packages, I bet I could find Go packages that give me some of the functionality that I'm used to having in C#, you know, like a count. Cool. Well, we successfully completed an old admin of code problem with Go. So I feel good. I feel like our learning has gone well then. Pablo, there's an iterator library. Nice. Renee, just use Postman for API development. Yeah, Postman's a good tool for sure. Anonymous, read the slices docs. Pablo, 100%. They added some more functional ways of using slices in 1.24 or something. Count means count how many times an item shows up. Yeah, you can basically just, I mean, you can either just get the count, right? Or you can pass it a predicate, right? That says, okay, count the number of items that meet this criteria, for example. So I'm guessing, I mean, I know you could implement something with generics yourself using Go, right? But I'm guessing there's also probably something out there in the Go land that somebody's already created to do that. I have a question though for you, for those of you who write Go or know Go already pretty well. Sounds like a reduce would do. Yeah, probably, yeah, for sure. Why does it seem like a lot of the built-in functions mutate things? Like I was just looking at like the sort functionality. Like for example, here, slices.sort, it doesn't return a new sorted list, it mutates these lists, which doesn't seem like, if Go is functional, it doesn't seem very idiomatic to functional programming to do that. That seems like a real JavaScript move. uh, because of allocations? Because the list could be very, very large. Yeah, but okay, so this is the problem I have with functional programming. I agree with you. It's a simple language. I don't know if I like it. Yeah, I think I like it, but I don't think I've heard people talk about Go in this very high esteem, and as I'm interacting with it, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't necessarily know if they're doing anything particularly like earth-shattering. It's not functional, it's programmatic. Immutability is expensive. Yeah, but see, that to me is that's where functional programming though then breaks down, right? If you believe in immutability, but the moment you run up against out the constraints of memory, you're like, okay, never mind. We believe in mutability. I don't know. That to me, that it seems like not necessarily. What's the word? Like you shit on object-oriented programming all the time because they believe in encapsulating state and behavior, and oftentimes mutating the state of instances of objects using methods on those objects. But then at the same time, over there in the FP world, they're like, well, yeah, immutability until we actually have to deal with the fact that you have to allocate memory every time you want to make another thing to avoid to avoid mutating it. Well, then it's kind of like, well, your critique of object-oriented programming is kind of dumb then, you know? Or at least that's the, you know, that's my thought. Imperative languages that care about memory try not to allocate more memory at all. Yeah, but I thought we weren't talking imperative. I thought we were talking about declarative functional programming. I thought that's what Go was after. Filthy potato, what's up, my man? This is C like, not Haskell like. Huh. Yeah, I know I don't have any experience with Haskell and very little experience with C. But I'm just going based off like what I've heard people preach about functional programming, and immutability is a big one, right? So it seems like that is a principle that we're totally fine with violating when necessary. Go is not functional at all, just not. Oh, really? Well, then I've been misinformed, because that's I thought that's what Go's take was that it was more of a functional paradigm. Go is neither. It just is. F sharp is functional, Go is imperative. Huh. Well, I need to learn some F sharp. I know people have told me that I need to learn some F sharp since I'm in the .NET world. So maybe at some point I take a trip down F sharp land. All right, what should we do now? Do we do another one, or maybe not another one, but maybe what if we did this? Maybe I should try F sharp too. Yeah, go for it, man. I mean, why not? Okay, so I do have an idea for a project that I think would be a good starter project for me. Very simplistic project, but it's something I want to build and have it built before. So maybe we just think through this project a little bit, maybe lay it out. So I think what I want to do is, have you guys ever seen those Linktree websites? Linktree example. Yeah, these things. People have these all over their social accounts where they basically just have a page which has like a bunch of social links on it. I think this would be kind of a fun, small little, a small little project to do, and just build it all with Go and their template system, and maybe a little bit of JavaScript, maybe. But I think this would be kind of, and then we can Dockerize it, and then we can just stick it on the server. So this would be like, my phone is going off. Yeah, link sites. Yeah, exactly. A lot of Twitch. Yeah, so I don't have one. I mean, I have a bunch of vanity URLs. Like if you go to youtube.stephenfreeborn.com, it should take you to my YouTube channel. Yeah. So I've got a bunch of vanity URLs like that. But I think it would be cool to have a vanity URL, or like a URL that's just like links.stephenfreeborn.com. And I can just, just like a link tree, I can just arbitrarily put whatever I want there and change it however I want. So I'm kind of thinking this would be a nice, simple website to get familiar with. How do you Dockerize a Go application? How do you write a simple static site using Go as the app, as the host of the app? Where did Scala jar go? Here we go. So I'm thinking it's going to live at, I think I want, yeah, just white. So it'll live at links.stephenfreeborn.com. I have several domains that I could use. Anyways, so something like this. Let's actually do both. Links.stephenfreeborn.com. So people hit this. This goes to a server that has a little Nginx on it, which I already have all set up. So this is my my Nginx server. Then we have our Go application. Go app Dockerized. Like this. This is basically what we'll build, I think. So let me just put this all right there. And then the Go app itself will just be a one-pager. And from a basic design perspective, we'll just have like a profile picture. Maybe we'll use my GitHub profile picture, because that's really easy to get. And then we'll just have a bunch of links here. Like that. Nothing fancy, but it'll teach us the basics of how do we serve static content using Go. We'll learn about the template language. Maybe we can also hook it up to maybe we can also put some OTel and send that over to Seek too. We could do that. We could learn about that. That'd be a good thing to learn about. I mean, these are all things I know how to do, but I just don't know how to do them in Go, you know? And then I think for the data, so all this should be like, I should be able to change these whenever I want. So I think the way I'll do that is I'll just have a JSON file. Yeah, I'm just going to use a JSON file, which will just be an array of links. One, two, three, four links like that. And that'll get parsed and rendered to build my... I mean, I guess this doesn't even need to be a JSON file. It could just be a struct in a Go file, couldn't it? Okay. Yeah, I think that sounds like fun. Hold on. I'm gonna read. Hold on. We're still having a conversation about the functional stuff, right? That means that in C# you create objects and instances. F#, everything is a function that returns functions, and that leads to a different set of solutions. Oh, do you own Steven.nz? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I bought Steven.nz this year at some point. At some point this year. I was trying to find a because I kind of feel like it's kind of cool to be able to, have your name as part of the URL. So like, oh, whoops, that doesn't work. Blog.stevens. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so you can reach my blog from blog.stevens, or you can reach it from blog.stevenfreeborn.com. Either way, it's coming from the same place. But I always thought it would be cool to be like, to be able to say like Stevens /GitHub, to have like short links, or like Stevens YT or FB or LinkedIn, some shorter terser domain. That's why I bought it. I have a bad first name for playing well with top level domains. So the question becomes now, if we make a new directory and we call this links.stevenfreeborn.com. So the question is, how do you structure this stuff? How do you structure this place? I mean, definitely need a README, right? Definitely need a license. Does anybody know, is there like Go templates like that will scaffold out a project for you? Go app templates? They literally, all they did was made a directory, and then they went straight into the directory and said, create a file named wiki.go, open your favorite editor, and add the following lines. I forgot that base projects in Go take seconds to compile and not like 10 minutes. I just don't get how F# would interact with the framework like Blazor. I honestly don't. Can you build Blazor with F#? I honestly don't know. Blazor F#. So it looks like they use something other than Blazor. They use something called Bolero. Develop spas with the full power of F# and .NET. So apparently it's possible. Create dynamic HTML content using a concise and readable syntax in a full-fledged client-side .NET web framework. I mean, that looks pretty nice, don't it? Now this looks foreign to me. Like, what are we doing with this pipe operator here? I mean, I think if I understood the language a little bit more, maybe I'd be like, yeah, I fuck with this, but it looks kind of foreign at the moment to me. But apparently it's possible to do. If you'd like to write Blazor applications in F#, you're good to go. Okay, so we have a load page function. It's fine. Is there a place where this code lives from this tutorial? Huh. Okay, so basically what I'm getting from this is I can literally just like make a directory called source. I can go in here. What did they call this file? Final.go is what they called it. But I guess I can call mine whatever I want, huh? So could I call mine new item app.go? I don't think though they did. I don't think they did it. Did they do a go mod command when they created their? I mean, they did, and they just created a file called wiki.go, and yeah. So I don't think I necessarily need that, do I? Go build source or go build app.go. I don't know. I'm winging this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm Let me do package app bunk main format dot yeah whoops dot print line. Go build source app.go. Renee, you know, you see when your live streams get more views than some popular YouTuber. Do they really? That's surprising to me because I don't feel like there's anything particularly exciting about what I do. I should say there's another pattern standard project structure. It's documented on GitHub. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no worries. Let me Google them for it. Yeah, I'd like to follow whatever the convention is, ideally, you know. Standard Go project structure. GitHub. Oh, here we go. Sample Go project template, maybe? This is a basic layout for Go applications. Excuse me. Okay, this is probably overkill for what I need. I think this is it, maybe. There's a YouTube with 500,000 subs. Her vids also get a ton of views, but her live streams, bibs and bobs around your numbers for live streams, not too shabby, not too shabby at all. Yeah, I wonder if that's just like how the algorithm works, though. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it's not really showing favoritism to anyone based on channel size. You know? Like I've heard people say like in this new world of content that that's channel number of subs doesn't mean as much. That the algorithm is more focused on trying to find content that people like and less concerned with pushing content to the subscribers of channels. Who knows though? I try not to worry about the numbers too much, you know? The Go compiler does enforce stuff. See Artwork Studios, sleep well, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you. The internal and package directories for Golang modules. Yeah, I guess I'm a little confused about. Maybe Gemini can help unconfuse me. I'm a little confused about like, you know, like in C#, there's like console apps, right, or a web API, and then there's class libraries, right? And so to me, does everything in Go have to be a module, or are Go modules more for like library code? Like what does app code look like in Go? I'd like to build a simple SSR or a simple statically. Well, I guess it's really server rendered. A simple server rendered website. Excuse me, I didn't mean to burp into your ear. A simple server rendered website using Go. I'm trying to understand what the right project structure is. Do I still need to create a Go module for this? Because what I'm thinking is at the moment, My current thought process is just to have my current thought process is just to have a source folder, and then in the source folder just have app.go, and then maybe my index.html, which is a template. Alwyn, thanks for subbing, appreciate it. Or go, I guess it would be go HTML, but some sort of template file here. And maybe like a links.json. Maybe a links.json. I don't. And then just basically, or even maybe just a links.go file. And then essentially use this as the template. And then use the links.go to describe the links, right? And then the app.go obviously to serve the request. Okay. So this says a practical guide. Don't over-engineer your project. A simple app can live in just a few files. You do need a Go module. Okay, so I do need to do the Go mod init. Your module definition, dependency checksums, your application's entry point. Okay, I like this. Yeah, I like this. And probably, yeah, I'll need a style.cs. Yeah. Easy. That's easy enough. Can I... Let's ask Gemini to help me... Hold on, how do I talk to Gemini? I have to go back. So I see you put all that code in the root of your directory. I'd like to keep the root pretty clean, so I'd like the app code to live in a source folder. Is that possible? If you keep it, hold on a second. In most cases, the project consists of a main.go, a go mod, and the go sub in the root dir. Then folders and files in the root dir. If you keep it simple, but you're able to do anything. So that's so it's kind of more like Go project structure is more like JavaScript project structure in the sense that you can kind of organize it however you want. This is what we were looking earlier. Okay. Okay. I'm okay with following this. Because I'd like to I prefer to kind of keep my root directory not polluted with a bunch of not with a bunch of files. So okay. I like this. So then what I should do is right here, I should remove the source. Steven, sorry, just a side question here. What package manager did you use to install C# 14, or did you just build from source? So if you have .NET 10 installed, C# 14 should just be, if you're using .NET 10, C# 14 should just be what you get. If you don't have .NET 10 installed, or you're using if you're targeting some other version of .NET, then you should be able to go into your CSproj file, and you should be able to set a project. This would be a property, yeah, that's called lang version. And there's .NET 10 now. They vividly use this convention if My previous, yes, yep, I see your previous two. Yeah. So I think I like the convention. I mean, I think I prefer if it's left up to me, I would prefer following whatever the conventions are myself. So remove the source. Um, your main.go lives here. I wonder why this, though. This seems kind of weird to me. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Go. Well, we're almost out of time, but let's set it up. Go mod init. Stephen Freeborn / links Stephen Freeborn.com. Okay. So we have our go.mod there in the root, which is what they said. Then we'll make a new dir called, what was it called? CMD. And we'll change into CMD. And then in here, I think what I'll do is instead of calling this my web app, I think I'll just say make dir web. And then in here, they want me to do make or new item, and this would be main.go. Okay, now we're at a point where we should probably do this in NeoVim. It would probably look better. It's because you could have multiple applications building on the internal package COD or package code. Okay, that's one big package name. Yes, it is one. That is one big package name. Which I was just trying to follow the convention, right, of like wherever it's going to be hosted, right, is where you put the package name at, which I don't think that really matters in this case because I'm not really going to let people, I guess people aren't really going to consume this code in that way. And then we need an internal to set up our handlers, which I guess we don't really need it, right? We could put everything in main to start with. We definitely are going to have some static files, and we're definitely going to have a template. So let's make a templates directory, which I think just is going to have an index.html. What do you call Go templates? Go template file name. Oops. This is a widely used and recognized extension for general Go template files. So if I'm working with text template, use this one. And if I'm working with HTML templates, use this. Well, we are working with HTML, so. I even think the use of internal there is a little weird, but that is my opinion, nothing objective. Pablo, this is going to be like 5 files max. It is. It is going to be like 5. It's probably only going to be like, but like I think this is an important thing. Like, do you use your projects as an excuse to explore how that particular language or community does things, or are you just trying to get to the end, right? And I think for me, the goal is less about having this website working and more of just using it as an excuse to try to answer the questions that inevitably come up when you're doing something new, right? It's like, oh, well, how do you structure a project? How does everybody else do it, right? And just using it as an excuse to explore that. I do like separating the handlers, though. I think that's kind of an interesting convention. So let's do So this one's good. We have our templates, and then he had a file called, or Jim and I had a directory called static. And then they actually separated this by the file type. I don't think that's important to me though, because I'm probably only going to have style.css and maybe an index.js, but honestly I could write my JavaScript in my index.html file if I wanted to. Yeah, I think that looks good. Oh, handlers, right? Well, I think what I'll do is I'll write my handler in main.go, and then if I want to, I'll refactor it out. That'll be my plan. So this will be package main. So should this be package main, or should this be package web? What should that be? What should be the name of that package? Well, like with the Git example I gave earlier, it's integrated with Go templating. Anonymous looks great. Main, most common. Okay, yeah. So I'll name it package main. And then for now, I'm just going to have a function main, and it'll just, I guess, print something. Hello world. So then the idea would be from the root of my directory. So if I close all this out, I should be able to say go run or go build. Okay, so how do I get the web package built? Does this talk about it? Okay, so based on that directory structure, how would I build my app? Because I'm assuming at the end of the day, when I go to Dockerize this thing, my Docker files are basically just gonna copy the files, run, and I'm gonna get some sort of executable. Okay. So go build CMD web. But where did it put it? Oh, there it is. It's right there. Oh, you guys probably can't see that. So there's the web exe right there. And so then I can do boom. Okay, cool. Go build main go dash o. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah. So I think I see a path. I see the path forward here, right? I see the path forward. I think the path forward is I go through, I actually write my handler, I parse the templates, right? I do all the stuff that they talked about in the Learn and Go with Tests template thing. And then I'll produce a single file executable. I'll stick that in the Docker file. That will be the entry point of the Docker file. I'll build the Docker image, pull that down to my server, run it, and then direct my Nginx proxy to route requests to my Go app in the Docker. Okay, that's awesome. So let's just go ahead and let's initialize this repo, and then I think we'll push this up, and then tomorrow we'll come back. We'll do more admin of code. I'm probably gonna this is probably gonna be my rhythm. I'm hoping it's not too chaotic, but I think I'll probably do a little bit of practice with admin of code, maybe work on a project, do a little bit of practice, work on a project, whatever I'm feeling like doing at the moment that day. But whatever we do, we'll be working with Go so that we're getting practice before December starts. links.stephenfreeborn.com. This is a site inspired by things like Linktree, but built as a project. Turn on word wrap. Built as a project to learn more about web development in Go. Because, like, there's nothing I'm going to build. There's nothing I'm going to build in this app that wouldn't take me probably like 10 minutes to do with Linktree. But obviously then I don't get the learning, right? So that's really what it's about. It's just the opportunity to learn. So we want to delete this. And then we probably want to have a git ignore file. I'm guessing there's some sort of go, let's see, go git ignore template. Because I don't know what all files Go app with, Go processes produce. So I'm just gonna go based off what the community recommends. So .git ignore. Also, Anonymous, it sounds like you've been writing Go a little bit, and then I know Pablo's been writing Go a little bit. Is there any way that you can control the way your Go code is formatted, or is it just kind of like you get what you get and you don't throw a fit type of situation? You get what you get, which I really don't mind that. The only thing that I mind about that is switch statements. I hate that the case is not indented in switch statements, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay, git init git add. Well, hold on. Let's make sure we don't have anything that we don't want in there. Yeah, I think that's all fine. Add git commit for initial commit, and then we'll do gh repo create. I love the GitHub CLI. Love it so much. Okay, this was fun. We got practice with admin code. We came up with a project to work on. This was a good stream. I'm a GH CLI fan too. Yeah, I love that thing, man. My favorite things to do with it are to create repos, and then also to like when you have like when you have GitHub Actions running and you just like want to watch your checks. I used it a lot for that too. Anonymous, it's by design. The formatter is built in with the Go binary. It's very opinionated, but it makes sure everything is standardized. I mean, there's good to that for sure. Yeah, for sure there's good to that. It's just what was I gonna say? It's just there's little things like that that from a readability perspective, you know, I feel like my brain or my eyes have been trained to look for certain things, you know. And so when code is formatted differently than my brain expects it, in my brain I find it less readable, but I can get used to it, you know? I can get used to it. It'll grow on me. All right, guys, it's 7:10, which y'all know what that means. Time for me to head upstairs, get ready for work. I actually have to go back to work today. I was off the last 3 days, but go back to work on a Friday. I know, bad move on my part. But so yeah, so I gotta go upstairs, get ready. I gotta take my youngest to school, and hopefully continue to try to fight off this this virus that's trying to overtake me. Housekeeping. So if you want to interact with me or anybody in chat outside of stream, you can find us in our Discord. So if you go to discord.stephenfreeborn.com, or maybe in the future, I'll be able to point you to my links page once we get that built. You can get the invite link there. And then as far as the schedule goes, I usually am live from 4:15 a.m. to about 7 a.m. almost every day. On the weekends, I go a little bit later. So if you see me live, obviously stop in, say hi. As far as content you can expect during the streams, for the next couple months, or the next month and a half or so, it'll mostly be Go related stuff with the odds and ends mixed in. So yeah, you're always welcome. I always appreciate when you say hi. Anonymous, I joined the Discord. Oh, yep. I will let you in, man. That is no problem at all. No problem at all. You are approved. Okay, well, if I don't see you tomorrow morning, I hope you guys have a good weekend. Otherwise, maybe I'll see you in the comments of a short or a video. And until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. If it's already Saturday for you, I hope you have a kick-ass Saturday. And I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Bye, Anonymous. Bye, Renee. Anybody else who's still here? Appreciate you guys for sticking around, hanging out. Pablo, if you're still here, have a good day, Pablo. All right, chat. Bye. Bye, chat. See you guys.